together and in solidarity. There's a good possibility that tomorrow when the resolution comes up for a vote, the African countries, if they're all sitting there, might be able to stop the process. Now, unfortunately, the Asian countries have also expressed to us that they always vote in solidarity with the African countries. So they may vote along with them. Now, we have strong support and always had strong support in Central and South America and the European Union. Very strong support. At the Human Rights Council level, China voted for the declaration. If China votes tomorrow against the resolution, we might have a chance that it will swing the Asian vote as well. But that's not a definite. China is saying they may abstain, which would be better than voting against it. If the resolution to postpone the declaration wins, and it'll probably be done by a vote. The UN always operates by consensus, but unfortunately this declaration has become quite the battle, and governments have been asking for votes instead of consensus. In fact, Canada asked for a vote in the Human Rights Council. And fortunately, we had the majority of nations. None of the African countries in the Human Rights Council voted against the declaration, but some did abstain. So we saw that as some African countries not being sure, needed more information, or it wasn't an issue that they felt affected them directly. And usually within the UN process, that's how an abstention, I had to get that out, is looked at. Now, tomorrow is a very critical time. If postponement wins, then the declaration will more than likely die a slow death. It will come up a year from now in the third committee, but by that point, I think the momentum and the support from governments that we've worked so hard to get will be reduced. I think indigenous peoples will be fatigued from this work. They will be exhausted and disheartened that this has happened. And the bad part is that the Kansas group, the group of four, will be able to stop a process they have been trying to stop for 21 years and lay it at the feet of the African nations. They will walk away clean, and Africa will be the bad guys. And they seem to be falling right into that trap. We have tried our darndest for about 3 months before the third committee met. Several of us met with as many African countries as we could and briefed them on the declaration, how it would affect them, that it was not legal, that this was an aspirational document, that the right to self-determination would come out of the regional experiences of the African nations. So trying to quell any of they're being frightened actually about some of the words of the documents. But when you look at, let's say, the Democratic Republic of Congo, who we went to see, Zimbabwe, who we went to see, you look at their resources, and then you look at the resources of the Kansas group, the developed countries, who have huge buildings, huge staffs, money galore, specialists on every issue. And then you have the African countries who maybe have a staff of 2 and a little tiny office near the UN. it's very clear that they cannot compete with the developed countries, that something like the draft declaration is going to slip through the cracks because they have to follow absolutely everything in the UN, and it's not humanly possible when you have a staff of maybe 2 or 3. That's the sad part. Hopefully it won't happen. Hopefully we will squeak by and the declaration will go to the General Assembly, and next month, maybe around December 10th, maybe around December 20th, the declaration will come before the General Assembly, and more than likely Canada or the US will call for a vote. But by that, if it gets that far, we probably will have enough votes to get it adopted. Now, some of the arguments against a vote and consensus. Some people say if it's done by vote, the declaration will be weak and it won't mean anything. Well, if we look at history and we look at the Declaration on Human Rights that was adopted in 1948, that declaration, which has become common law throughout the world, was voted on, and it wasn't a very strong majority. So we can sort of put that argument about vote aside. The fact is, we as Indigenous peoples must take that declaration to our communities, breathe life into it, and make it ours. And 10 years or so down the road, maybe our leaders will say, we are ready to begin the process of a convention. The declaration we want to make into a convention on the rights of Indigenous peoples. Ideally, that would be the best. But right now, we have to deal with this reality. Now, how can we use this declaration right now? Many people have been using it in their written documents, in their local communities, and making it theirs for about the past 10, 15 years. If the declaration gets adopted, my feeling is the Onondaga rights issue and action should take hold of that declaration and make it work and breathe life into it right now. Where that declaration talks about the right to self-determination, about collective rights. And Article 36 has very strong language on treaties. And this is something that the Onondaga Nation can use right now. It's important that this document, that this declaration get adopted. And maybe our friends, all of you folks here, can challenge your government. And it's the State Department who's responsible for this. Get online, find out who in the State Department you need to send a note to asking a couple of things. Why are you not supporting the declaration? Make them accountable and make them do it publicly. If with one side of the tongue, and I think they call that forked tongue, the United States is saying we have a nation-to-nation relationship, and then in the international community it says we cannot support the right to self-determination, we cannot support this document. What's going on here? The domestic and the international is not meshing. And you, as a citizen of this country, need to ask why. Why are you saying this, and internationally where nobody knows what you're saying, meaning the US, and how you're getting away with all of these transgressions because the information doesn't come back to the communities, making them accountable. Let's find out why. Why there's a difference between internal self-determination and external self-determination. The United States is saying Indigenous peoples have internal self-determination. Well, if that's the case, then the lands rights issue isn't going to have a very strong foundation unless we have a declaration that says Indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination both internally and externally. Those are the things that we need to challenge and move on and get this country going. How tomorrow will happen, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. But folks are working feverishly behind the scenes to move the declaration forward. I will be in communication with Joe Heath. I'll call him right away tomorrow when something happens so he can be your point person as to what's happening with that declaration. But in the meantime, thank you for your support, your tremendous support on this series and this discussion, and for allowing me to be here to share with you things that I think are important, not only for Indigenous peoples, but for all of us. Dane.